Hello, friends. Welcome. August 21st, 2022, Virtual Strangers 163 is live. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, how you doing this fine Sunday evening, sir?
Good. Well rested. Slept into like 1 something. It's like, what the hell, man? I couldn't sleep last night. Crazy. But I don't remember last time I slept in that late. Now I got a question for you, Wes, or I guess for the community. Dee was asking me yesterday, somebody was asking Dee, or maybe I don't know how it came up, maybe in my stream. Which game should she play first? I think she asked when she gets her PSVR. Like, what game? I mean, everybody says that Half-Life Alyx, but like, I'm kind of torn. I feel like this is not a newbie either. This is somebody that's been in VR for well over a year and a half, been playing all sorts of games, just never played PSVR.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Because, I mean, are we talking about like PC exclusives? Are we talking about, are mods part of the conversation?
Yeah, everything.
I got to think.
Because that's where I've been leaning.
I got to think that we probably should shelf mods for a week or two until she gets her feet underneath her with regards to dialing and performance and things like that. PSVR is a little bit of a different beast than, standalone and console. So she might need to get her feet wet, learn how to deal with settings and things like that first. Yeah, we had a similar conversation on the Discord the other day, and I named off 5. Like, it's hard to name one. I named off 5, which is Half-Life Alyx, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Stormland, Asgard's Wrath, and Fallout 4. That would be the 5 that just pop straight into my mind. Now I could rattle off 30 more that are must plays, but I think those right there, those are the cream of the crop.
Somebody suggested Beat Saber just to see the difference between Quest and
right.
She's actually leaning towards one of your favorite games, After the Fall, or one of them, because like the graphics, seeing the flashing, the lights, But she's also going to have a lot of games, with Steam Share, so Family Share.
Family Share. Who's she linking up with? I haven't linked up with her yet, but
she's going to link up with me. There. Probably Mash. She can link up with you as well. I mean, we can. Like, this is the things that we've all had so many games that she'll have a good library to play.
Right. After the Fall, and this is what I was going to say is. She's going to have quite a few games, too, in her Oculus Rift library from Cross-Buy. Now, she has to go to the Oculus store and repurchase them for $0. But after the fall, her progress will carry over from the Quest onto the Rift version. It does link up. It does sync. So if she installs the Rift version instead of the Steam version, she'll be able to keep all of her progress and her arsenal and all that stuff. And she won't have to start over. And it does make a difference, let me tell you. That game looks a lot better on PC than it does on Quest.
Yeah. Bluebell says Steam has a share. Yeah, it's Family Share. It's definitely worth doing it. So let me ask you this: how many games do you think end up never being played again, the Quest version? Because I know myself, if I have the choice between the two, I always go, unless for some reason I'm in somewhere else, or you know what I mean, obviously, but if my computer's here, why would I not use it?
Yeah, this is a very, very short list of games that are pretty much identical between PC. I could probably count them all on one hand. So most of the time you're going to want to play PC, but sometimes, if you are talking about one of those games that's on the short list, sometimes, I mean, if it's not going to make any difference, it's nice to not have to deal with the PC and just grab the headset and put it on and play, which is a good segue into our super chat here from Looper, the Underground Game Cat. How the hell is Red Matter 2 not in the title? That's a good question. Well, the short answer would be that we do our game impressions and game reviews stuff on Wednesday. Sunday's more of a news show. But with that said, we very well could have put it in the title anyway today because we got one to give away, right, Ruuts?
Yeah, absolutely. We have Traveling Man said he wanted to give away a game. And he said the game's so good, and he wanted somebody that maybe couldn't afford it to get it, or just somebody that just doesn't have an opportunity to get it. So kudos to Traveling Man for sure.
Spry Guy, good point. Well, first of all, thank you, Looper, and thank you, Traveling Man, for the support. Very, very much appreciated. Also want to shout out Bluebell and Guido for their recent contributions, which we'll get into over time here. Thank you, all of you, for your ongoing support. We very, very much appreciate it. But with that said, Spry Guy has a good point here. He says Wes has one in his background that's better on Quest than on PC.
Yeah,
that's right. And I've been kind of itching to play this lately too.
It makes you wonder though. It's not the. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been in the PC version for so long. It's the gameplay. It's the modes and stuff that draw you in there. But that being said, it looks so good, and Death does. So I mean, it may very well look as good, if not better, than the PC version at this point.
They're close. The PC version does have a little bit more detail, even still. But the game, it's not even comparable. Like the PC version, the PlayStation version, it's like a beta demo for the full version that's on Quest. You know what I mean? It's not even close.
Yeah, absolutely. Either way,
but
either game's version, right, is good.
But Red Matter 2, without getting too much into it, I mean, I'm reading online people saying that there's a little difference, like a small difference between the PC and Quest 2 versions. Man, it's hard to see, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if you've checked it out on Quest 2, but my goodness, this thing is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing it through on the PC version, but I think that just to see the difference between the two, because I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a difference. Lighting, you know, but...
Dude, the lighting on the Quest, you're not going to believe it. You need, before Wednesday, you need to check it out on Quest. Just for comparison's sake, give it 30 minutes or something. You're not going to believe it. Like it doesn't seem like it should be possible, but these guys are good, man. They're good. I don't know what kind of deals that they made with their soul, but well, we're all reaping the benefits of it. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully other developers can follow suit, right? Learn the tricks and of the trade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a few out there. There's a few out there that are really good at it, but for the most part, I mean, as time goes on, we're seeing more and more. Into the Radius is coming soon. We're going to be covering that one as well. They've done a very good job with that one. There's some good stuff on Quest, and it's getting better every day. And it kind of, Bone Lab. I mean, Bone Lab looks phenomenal on Quest. So as time is going on, it seems more and more like if you're bringing out a game that looks like Minecraft, it's just because you didn't try, right? You just didn't try.
Yeah, or it's the style, retro. You're supposed to look like that, but you definitely didn't try for sure. And yeah, so I'm excited to play it on Quest 2 for sure.
Anyway, as we mentioned before, we do have a copy to give away, courtesy of our friend Traveling Man here. The first person in the chat to answer this question
right off the bat
wins a copy of Red Matter 2 right off the bat. Yeah, well, might as well. We're talking about it, right?
Get it out, yeah.
So here's the question. First person to answer it correctly. Let me double check the answer before I ask the question. It's not going to be the developer, so Mepper, you can go ahead and erase it. Well, we're not asking that one. But I'm going to double check my answer here before I ask the question. So bear with me just a moment.
Mike Newton says PD did a side-by-side Red Matter 2, and then the very next comment was PD saying evening all. It's almost like his ears were itching. He popped in here.
Okay, so Red Matter 2 is and I think this is an Oculus key, right, which is cross-buy, so you can play it on either platform, but this is an Oculus key. Red Matter 2 is a sequel to the original Red Matter by Vertical Robot. The first person who can name the year in which Red Matter was released will win a copy of Red Matter 2 on Oculus.
There you go. Who was it last week, Onakazi, that was up? Said we should not just put a question or something that's everybody knows.
I think it was Onakazi.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's no way
Wait,
anybody
and then
guessed the year.
and then
1984.
Simplex left a comment that said that we could easily encrypt the keys so that people would have to copy it out of the chat and then take it to a decryptor to decrypt it and get the actual key. That's just a little too much, man. It's a little too much.
Yeah, this is the thing. That would be cool for about 20% of the audience. And then the other 80%, like myself, would be like, I don't know what the fuck decrypting a key. Where do I go? What am I doing here?
Like, we're not giving away a new car or request for that, man. We're giving away a game. That's a little.
That is pretty cool, though. I didn't know that was a possibility.
Yeah, well, same here. Same here. It was. I didn't know it was that easy. So thank you for the education there, Simplex. Eye on the Icon. Congratulations. You are the winner 2018. November 10th, 2018, the original Red Matter launched on PC. Congrats.
Actually, it looks like Jim Hall answered. Oh, no, it was right after. Tetris Effect. You're wrong, Jim Hall. That's not the answer, bro. That is a good game, though. I love it.
It's an excellent game. It's the best game. You know, what were we thinking? D asked what the first thing she should play is. Tetris Effect. Hey, go check out Tetris Effect.
Yeah, it is amazing. So I guess you can just send us your email, Ian, and then we'll give it to Traveling Man, and we'll get you the key.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you guys know how the Oculus system works, but Travel Man's going to gift it to you, Ion. So if you wouldn't mind sending us your Oculus associated email address, we'll pass it along to Traveling Man, and he will gift it to you. Ion the Icon says, I legit couldn't buy the game. So that's awesome.
This is perfect. This is exactly what Traveling Man said. He said he was hoping somebody would get it that couldn't afford to get it, that really wanted to play it, and he's just paying it forward from Bluebell and Guido because they gifted him games, and this is why this community is so awesome. So grats, Ion.
Yeah, and we've got a copy of Contractors we're going to give away in a few minutes from Bluebell. Speak of the Devil.
That's awesome.
So yeah, thank you, Traveling Man. Thank you, Bluebell. Roots. We need to get started, and we need to get this show kicked off. We need to say hello to our friends in chat, but I wanted to take a moment to remind everyone: claim your free stuff. Go on Epic Games, go on the PlayStation Store, claim your free games. It's getting ready to change over again, especially on Epic. And I don't know if you knew this, Roots. Doom 64 is free on Epic Game Store right now.
Oh my God, no, I didn't. Man, this is the thing. We got rid of that segment, and it screwed me over. I was relying on it, but yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll have to go get it for sure.
We came this close to today's episode being free stuff and killer deals because, to be honest, the news was a little sparse this week. You can see it on the cutting room floor. There's not a lot of extra stuff down there, and there's lots of sales. There's lots of free stuff going on right now. So I almost made this free stuff and killer deals show, but as I looked a little deeper in some non-conventional sources, we've got some older articles on games we haven't covered yet. We've got some newer articles that are a little bit different than what we typically cover. But we put together a good show. So we just, I decided to let free stuff and killer deals go. But I did want to, again, just remind people, get your free stuff. Do it now. Don't wait until it's gone and then have to live with the regret of having to buy these games a year from now when they get VR mods.
Speaking of regret, I was talking somebody in the chat mentioned it earlier about Dead Second, and they were saying, "Oh, have you played it?" I said, "No, man, I need to go pick that up before it goes to $20." They said, "Oh, I went to $20 today." I said, "Oh, that may be a reason for me to wait for a sale." How bad is that? Oh man, everybody's raving about this game.
We might need to send an email. I was going to just buy it to support the devs, but I don't know if I want to support them that much.
Yeah, I haven't tried.
I was good at supporting them for $10, 20. I don't know.
See, we might even just have those thoughts, guys. We absolutely have families and budgets. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I would just buy it out of the Patreon coffers, but we've been buying a lot out of the Patreon coffers over the last couple of months. And it's starting to dwindle a little bit, so I want to, we'll hold off, and the ones that we for sure 100% want to cover, or have to cover, I guess I should say, we'll pick those up But dead second, we might just have to send an email out for that one.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll want us to play it.
Four Wheeling says, with the $5 donation, was you as happy as me to see Usman get knocked out? Dude, I was ecstatic, especially because of the way that the commentators were just burying Leon. Like, yeah, Usman was winning, but he was just wrestle fucking him, man. He wasn't like kicking his ass or anything. Leon won the first round, and it was the most dominant round of the fight. Was the first round when Leon mounted him and was almost choked him out. The next 3.5 rounds, Usman just basically held him up against the fence and stomped his feet and kicked him in the legs. But then Ruuts, with less than a minute left to go in the fight, Leon sets up this perfect left head kick and knocks the champ stiff. I mean, stiff, brother.
You want to see a knockout. We don't want to see a technical, Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have like a really cool submission move or something, or maybe they dislocate their shoulder or something. We want to see we want to see violence. That's what we're there for. Controlled violence.
It was just perfect. It was a perfect technique. Like he threw a half jab and then a left behind it, but it wasn't meant. He didn't commit to the punches. The punches were just meant to draw out a reaction, which it did. It caused the champ to move to his right, and he moved right into Leon's foot, and it was perfect.
They were working on that for a while, man. Hey, that's awesome.
You got to understand the context of it too. Like the champ, they were calling this dude the best of all time, and Leon probably. Right. And Leon probably should have got a title shot 3 years ago. He's won 10 fights in a row. Like, he keeps getting stepped over. Like, people keep getting the shot over him because he's not the best talker. He's not real flashy. He's just good, He don't lose fights. So eventually he became undeniable. They had to give him the shot because, I mean, there wasn't anybody left for him to beat other than the champ. And he stepped in there. Looked like he was going to lose a decision. The commentators were just talking about how he was defeated and wasn't really trying to win anymore. And as soon as they said it, pop, game over.
I bet they're driven to give him another fight with him. And it's totally different now. The rematch it's going to happen fairly quickly. They're not going to dick around with it, If they wanted this guy. Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
Here's the thing, though. It's funny because, obviously the champ deserves a rematch. He was a long-reigning champion, dominant champion. There's probably 3 dudes. If the UFC had their choice, there's probably 3 other guys they'd rather give the next shot to because of big money matchups. And it'll be interesting to see if they find an excuse to wait on giving Usman his rematch to try to get one of these money fights done. Yeah, it's all politics. It's all money. When it comes to the UFC, it's not a meritocracy. It's not like NBA or NFL where the best play the best 100% of the time. They're trying to sell tickets and pay-per-views. So it'll be interesting to see, if the former champ gets put in Leon's position now where he keeps getting stepped over for a bigger matchup.
Well, you put it that way, that's almost a guarantee. If there's money to be made, they'll make some kind of excuse. It'll be interesting to see.
I hope Leon at least gets one successful title defense under his belt because these guys, they don't make a lot of money until they become champion. When you become champion, you get a back end on the pay-per-view sales. You get a percentage.
Wow.
And that's when these guys who are making, enough money to live on go to becoming millionaires is when they defend the title. So hopefully Leon can at least get one under his belt and make him a couple $1 million before he loses.
Yeah, good for him.
Anyway, let's say hello to our friends in chat. Space Dennison in the house. What's up? Rich Hellstrip is here. Immersed Robot. Gary, what's up? He says, I miss the Anderson Silva days. Anderson Silva, my favorite of all time. People keep trying to say this one's the GOAT and that one's the GOAT. Anderson Silva is the greatest of all time. And anyone who watched him in his prime knows that. So yeah, I miss Anderson Silva too. He's still boxing, beating boxing champions. It's crazy. He's like 46 years old or something like that. Still kicking dude's ass.
Yeah.
MRI Gamer is here. What's up?
Carl Parker says you're smoking crack if you don't think Dead Second's worth $20. I haven't played it. That's my problem.
It's not. That's not it, bro. It's not that we think it's worth it or don't think it's worth it. It's that that the funds are running low, and we have every game except for that one. So, like, you know what I'm saying?
We got a lot of other stuff to try out.
We got other stuff to play. If if the dev would like for us to cover it, and that's their prerogative, they'll send us a key, right? And we'll cover it. We'll be glad to give some more publicity.
Yep.
Kyle Kitchings is here. Says he came from nothing too. Such a cool story. Yeah, man, it's awesome. Really happy for that guy. Thomas McNostril. Nice to see a UK fighter at the top. Yeah, I mean him and Bisping, right? The two from that side of the world to hold the belt. Pretty awesome. Traveling Man, of course, we already said hello to. Carl Parker. Technological Glitch. What's up? VR Spry Guy. Rogue TR is here. Ryan Brannon is here. Spoilers. Yeah, I guess it kind of is spoilers. But, they made the donation and asked the question. I got to answer it right. Lot of cool other stuff on the card, too. So it's worth going back and watching it if you haven't already. The co-main event was awesome. Mickey Barrios, what's up? Awesome Tatum, what's up? Bluebell, hello. Zayla Maru is here. Good to see you. Let's see. Cheeto Wendy, what's up? Good to see you. Who else? Fluke Rogie. Glad to see all these people from across the pond still tuning in, even though it's so late. Like, it's almost midnight for these people. Thank you. Paradise Decay, Speak of the Devil. What's up, PD? Good to see you. My mod manager, Roots, our mod manager, Paradise Decay, is here.
Yeah. Actually, he needs to, step it up and give us some, what is it, Bioshocks. I need some stuff for the reshade, right?
Yeah, Bioshock's probably a good one. PD, didn't they take Bioshock off of the Vorpex list? I think they did. We probably have to do it in reshade now.
I want to know what to set that. PD, if you can give me settings for Wreckfest. Everybody keeps telling me I need to try Wreckfest because I've been playing it with reshade. I just don't know what the settings would be. If it'd be like 40 depth again or, I don't know.
Eye on the Icon, Rob Perry, VR Spry Guy, Chatty's here. Let's see, Mash Daddy, what's up? Eric checking in from Deutschland. So, Guten Abend? I don't remember. Good evening. Guten Abend.
It's probably closer than what I would say.
Let's see. Who else here? Wormsworth is here. Hello, sir. Jim Hall, of course. Hello. Scrolling kind of fast now. If I miss somebody, I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Paradise KK says Dead Space. I need to try that. He keeps telling me. So.
Yeah, people rave about Dead Space, and especially now that Callisto Protocol is getting ready to come out. There's a lot of hype behind Dead Space. By the way, I can't wait for Callisto Protocol to do that one in reshade. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaz in the chat as well. Good to see you. Rye Pop, what's up? Good to see you, friend. And App J. I'm really scrolling fast now because there's a lot of repeat names. Decepticon. Oh, yeah. What's up, Decepticon? Vargosoft's here. Good to see you. Who else? Anyone else?
I saw somebody's name come in late. Rich something.
Well, I'm up at the top here. I'm up.
Rich Hellstrip.
Oh, yeah. I think we caught Hellstrip at the beginning, but hello, Rich. Hello again. Guido is here. He's at work. He just stopped by to say hello. Thank you, Guido. Guido donated a Mr. Task Swing Plus attachment to give away. So I think we're going to run, instead of giving that away today, I think we're going to run a promo soon and kind of tie it in the walkabout to give that one away. So thank you, Guido, for your support as always.
Nice.
Funky Sloth is here. Midlife Kid is here. I think we already said hello to Mike Newton, but just in case, hello, Mike Newton. And that's as far as my live chat's going up. So if I missed you, hello and
Did
welcome.
you see what Midlife Kid said? Because I saw it was like one of the first comments about Red Matter 2, right? It said changes the game in VR, I think is what the comment was.
You know, I'm glad that's true. It certainly changes the game for Quest and the Quest library. It's an exceptional game. We're going to talk more about that on Wednesday, and I'm glad Alvo VR is in the chat, because one of the things I forgot to put on our news lineup today, Roots. Thank you for showing up, Alvo, as there is a significant update to Alvo, and I think obviously our lineup set for this Wednesday, but I think next Wednesday we need to cover this update for Alvo. There's a bunch of new weapons and new maps. There's also a new game mode, Roots, which is like it's like a campaign style co-op mode that in the zombie mode. So there's like a creepy indoor zombie map that you can play through with friends, and the goal is to use teamwork to make it to the end and be extracted. And I've talked to people that have played it. They're all raving about it, say it's great. So I want to try it out. So I think you and me and Mash, whenever he gets back from Germany, I think we need to get in there and check it out.
Heck yeah, dude. I love Alvo. So I still think it's one of the best, if not the best shooters in VR. I just don't think people have found it yet.
It's certainly unique, right? It's not as samey as the Pavlovs and the contractors out there, right? It does what they do, but it does a lot more than what they do.
Yep, absolutely.
What's up, Phil Yarn? What's up, Roy Schwartz? Good to see you, friend. I felt we played some Firewall recently, Roy, and I felt weird not having you in there watching my back. Like Roy's
dirty, right? Didn't it
he's
feel
king
dirty?
shit. He's king shit at Firewall. Roy is. Yeah, it felt a little dirty. You're right. Kentucky RC Crawlers. What's up, Gene? Good to see you as well. But yeah, we're gonna cover the Alvo update probably next Wednesday. So tune in then for that if you're interested. Anyway, let's get into some headlines. We've got some interesting ones this week, huh?
Yep.
Team Asobi, quote, "We want to make our games feel like they're made in Japan." The PlayStation Studios' Nicolas Doucet on the success of Astro's Playroom, growing to 100 employees, and the importance of a dedicated R&D team. This is a rather lengthy and detailed article on gamesindustry.biz. I suggest any of you that are fans of PlayStation VR to go check out this article. It's an interview, and or it's based on an interview. It's a write-up after an interview, and there's lots of cool information in here. Now, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but there are a few tidbits in here that I would like to point out. First of all, and let me just resize this thing. It's cutting part of the words out for me here. There are clues here, Ruuts, to what Team Asobi has been working on. And we've known for a while that they've been working on their next thing for some time. And for those of you who don't know, Team Asobi used to be an internal studio that was part of the larger Sony Japan studios that's responsible for Astro Bot Rescue Mission, as well as a few other titles. But when Sony Japan Studio was disbanded a couple years ago, at this point, Team Asobi was made into kind of the standalone studio and expanded to continue to work on their stuff. And thankfully for all of us, they're actually apparently growing quite quickly. But I'm going to read a little bit of the article here, and I'll just stop and point a few things out as we go. Astro's Playroom was quite the surprise package at the launch of PS5. It was easy to dismiss the game before release as a short 3D platformer that acts as a tech showcase for Sony's new DualSense controller. We've seen plenty of these things before, a mildly diverting demo of the new hardware that you just bought. But Astro's Playroom turned out to be a genuinely delightful little game that was crammed with nostalgic references to PlayStation's past while representing what we might get from its future. The Verge dubbed it PS5's Wii Sports, and Eurogamer said that it is one of the best launch titles of all time. I have to agree. Perhaps we shouldn't have been so surprised. Astro's Playroom was the latest creation from Team Asobi, a small development unit behind the acclaimed Astro Bot Rescue Mission for PlayStation VR. And in creating Astro's Playroom, the team was eager to prove it could make something great outside of virtual reality. Of course, Astro's Playroom was a showcase of the DualSense and a love letter to PlayStation. But one of the goals was, can we live up to making a TV game? A classic non-VR game? And do character controls and all that, are our skills sufficient? Asks Team Asobi creative and studio director Nicolas Doucet. Making a VR game for PS4 means doing PS3 quality levels in terms of assets because you're on a tight technical budget. But when you jump to PS5, are we able to go to that level? So we got some confidence out of this. It's very nice to know that whenever a PS5 is bought, Astro is going to get played. It was a big responsibility because if you make something that's a little bit without flavor, then you run the risk of making the console feel that way. At the time of Astro Playroom's launch, Team Asobi was a development unit within the wider Japan studio. But in 2021, Sony closed the developer and spun Team Asobi out as its own company. Back then, Team Asobi was around 35 employees and has since grown to more than 60, and Doucet expects the number to reach around 100 people. We have a current production, and that's going fine. But we want to have another group for R&D, and we want enough in this group to explore many areas that are interesting and to potentially start other projects. But we're not giving ourselves any limits. If good people want to join Team Asobi, then we will be willing to talk to them. There's always stuff to do. There's always new projects to begin, and we're not limited by money or time. If we could double the studio just like that, we could find work for everybody. This R&D team is something that's crucial to Team Asobi. The developers' games are known for continually introducing new gameplay ideas, and that requires a lot of trial and error. We always have this extra team on the side, Doucet explains. Probably like 90% of the studio is on production. But there's a small pocket of people in the background that's already touching the technologies of tomorrow, or trying things with the technologies we have today, but taking them into a new direction. In order to keep this freshness, the R&D team needs to be rotated quite often. People go into production, and then after that, maybe go into R&D. Team Asobi's next project will follow in the footsteps of its games it's done before. But this will be a full-blown commercial title and our biggest to date. So some clues here, Ruuts, how this team behind the Astro Bot series works. And to no surprise, they get early access to new technologies that Sony's working on. Their whole drive and focus with their development is to come up with new concepts for gameplay, which is exactly what we see in any Astro Bot title. And then the last thing that we just mentioned here is that their next project is well underway now. And the article explains that it, quote, will follow in the footsteps of the game it's done before. So they just basically told us that an Astro Bot game is in development. It's going to be full-blown commercial and the biggest title that they've ever done. That, my friend, is exciting.
That is exciting because people in the chat are talking about, whether it be their top 3, top 5. Interesting discussion. Fluke Rogi saying a Half-Life Alyx isn't even in his top 3 or top 5. And a lot of people are like, oh my God. I'm kind of in your same boat, dude. I loved Half-Life Alyx, but I wouldn't put it, for me, it was not top probably 5, maybe top 5, but top 3, absolutely not. Astro Bot was a phenomenal game originally. That's what excites me. I felt like it was their biggest title, VR title, before. It was amazing. It was huge. I think they're going next level, like what we wanted the first one to be. Even the first one was amazing. It was like, we want more. We want the scope. This is what I want. I want Astro Bot Mario 64 style, where like they open that fucking open world. You're jumping in paintings. Like that was the next generation of those type of games, right? It was phenomenal. That's what I want.
Yeah, man. And, I think that's what we're going to get here. I think the Mario 64 PSVR 2 is exactly what this is going to be, because it's what they've always done, right? Like Astro Bot, innovative in so many different ways, and I can assure you, I've been back to Astro Bot a couple of times since my initial playthrough. It always surprises me how good it is. You forget just how good and polished that title is until you go back to it, and you're like, oh yeah, now I remember. But this is what they've always done. Astro Bot Rescue Mission was innovative. The Astro's Playroom that comes pre-installed on PS5, just as impressive, even if it is quite a bit shorter. It's a technical showcase. It shows you what the new hardware can do, and I'm certain that whenever this next Astro Bot title comes out, I'm sure it'll be a hybrid game, right? It'll be playable both flat and VR. But if you want to get the true experience, I'm sure it's going to be a technical showcase of what PSVR 2 is capable of.
Yeah, and it's going to use a DualSense controller, which I guess a lot of people freak out, right? It's not hand presence. What are you doing, Sony? Like, how are you dropping the ball? I don't even know how you would make a platformer with hand presence. But I just think that it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. And this is obviously going to be I would imagine, a launch title, right?
You would hope so, and you would think so, because typically that has been, I want to say typically that's been the case, but that's not true. Whenever PS4 console came out, I'm not sure if it launched with it or if it wasn't long after that. There was a title called The Playroom that came out, which was from this team. And then when PSVR came out, The Playroom VR came out. But Astro Bot itself didn't come out till 2018. And as far as the PS5 console, we already have Astro's Playroom. So I'm not sure this will launch. I'm sure it would be a great launch title. And if I had to bet, I would bet that, yes, it probably will be ready at launch. But I don't know. It may be a year or so. I wouldn't be shocked if it took it a little while to come out. But we do again. We know that Jim Ryan said in January that when was it January or March? He said that when PlayStation VR 2 launches, it will launch with 20 major VR titles. So I would imagine that it's very likely that Astro Bot, the next Astro Bot game, will be one of those titles.
I think it'd be a really smart one, for those people that are just coming into VR. PlayStation VR 2, you got this amazing platformer, right? Everybody loves platformers, and the first one blew everybody away. So I want it. I want it now. I don't want to wait a year.
Mindjive said, I like the track controller in Astro Bot. It gave a bit of hand presence. I love how they use the DualShock controller in Astro Bot, whether it's throwing Chinese stars or using that grappling hook with the cable on it, or using that cannon that allowed you to shoot the enemies out of the air. A lot of innovative use of last gen's regular gamepad. So with the updated capabilities of the next gen stuff, with the eye tracking and the next gen haptics and adaptive triggers and the audio and just all of it, I got to imagine that this next title is going to be something special, and that's what this article basically alludes to.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Anyway, I'll try to remember to post a link to this article on our Discord. There is an invitation in the description down below. I highly suggest anyone who's a fan of Astro Bot to check it out. A lot of cool information here regarding this team and what they're working on next.
I'm Defer from Resolution Games, and today we're super excited to reveal the pricing and release date for Ultimechs. But before we do that, we're going to give you the closest look yet of what Ultimechs looks like in action.
Ultimechs is a fast-paced, team-based sport of the future coming to VR headsets later this year that lets teams of 2 battle it out in the arena with rocket fists flying.
Alright, so I'm with 2 of the developers from the team here to give us some more insights of how Ultimechs is played. So say hello to the camera, guys. Hello! So Ultimechs is a very fast-paced game, but it also requires precision, where you steer these like rocket-fueled fists. What are you doing to make this game accessible and fun, but also a place where you can show off your skills?
As we started going onto the game, we've tried different speeds of how quickly the player moves, how quickly the ball moves, and like the power of the hits. And we found that the faster you moved and the smoother, the quicker that you can dash upfield and backfield to switch from offense to defense. That became super important. You would move forward into offense, that player would counter and just swing the ball right back towards your side. So you wanted to get back as quickly as possible so that you can ready your defense with your gloves. Yeah, it's very similar to foosball in a lot of ways. So one of the strategies of it, you can't always have a direct shot. You have to be as close as you can and then curve your glove and maybe even curve the ball to actually make the shot work, because a straight shot won't always be on target. So it's almost like being a rocket physicist in some ways to calculate the trajectory of like the ball is moving at this speed and at this angle. I need to get my glove that's moving at this speed to catch it before it gets there, and also control it and angle that shot so that I can set myself up. Like I can hit the ball, say to the left side to bank off the corner wall to be ready for my other glove that will intercept it for an open goal.
So Bo, I keep hearing that you're one of the top players in the dev team. Do you have any tips for the future pilots who are going to try out the game?
A newbie mistake is oftentimes to turn around to follow the ball, but what I realized pretty quick, you don't have time to like really just turn 90 degrees to the other side. You have to just like trust that, oh yeah, I know the ball is behind me, I just need to back up real quick, and always keep the ball in front of me. And also having the ball in the middle of the arena, that's like the riskiest zone, because people can use their supercharges and like get a powerful shot towards your goal. So a good way to defend your goal is to like make sure you get it off to the sides of the arena, to the walls. sometimes I know I managed to do it once. Like I used it for defense. It came towards my goal, and then I blasted it all across the arena into their goal. And it felt like such an epic moment.
You'll be able to try out some of these tricks on your own when Ultimechs launches on Steam, MetaQuest 2 and Pico devices starting September 15th for free. Follow our socials and wishlist the game on Steam to stay updated. We'll provide more details about our mechs and a first look at the Season 1 Battle Pass closer to launch.
Ultimechs launches for free on September 15th for Quest, PCVR, and Pico, Ruuts and Pico. This is from Harry Baker, Upload VR. Resolution Games' next title has a release date. Ultimechs launches September 15th on Quest 2, Steam VR, and Pico platforms. Announced late last year, Ultimechs will mix mechs and Rocket League to create a new competitive multiplayer VR title. Until recently, it was only confirmed for release on PCVR and, quote, major VR platforms. This past week, Resolution confirmed the game will also launch on Quest 2 and Pico devices. Resolution also revealed that Ultimechs will adopt a free-to-play model, available as a free download with no limits on play on all platforms. This will be supplemented by a seasonal battle pass system, the Ultimechs Ultipass, that will offer new paint jobs and other cosmetic enhancements to make the mechs uniquely personalized. Other details on Ultipass content and pricing will be made available before launch in September. An Ultimechs preseason preview weekend is also set to take place this weekend on Steam, giving players the chance to compete across the weekend in 1v1 and 2v2 matches online. We've reached out to Resolution to confirm whether the preview weekend will be available on other platforms as well, but for now, PCVR players can register for preview access over on the game's Steam page. Update: Resolution confirmed to Upload VR that the preseason preview weekend will only be available through Steam VR. The release announcement was also accompanied by a developer deep dive video, which we just watched, showing off some new gameplay and discussing key mechanics like curve shots and positional planning. Ultimechs will be available to demo on the show floor at Gamescom in Cologne later this week. Eric will be there to try it out, along with a bunch of other upcoming VR titles. Keep an eye out for impressions in a few weeks' time. You know, not only is Eric going to be able to play it this Wednesday, Ruuts. You want to know a secret? We can go play it right now.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, the show's over, ladies and gents.
We're done. We're out.
So, looks a little bit more polished than Knock, right?
Yeah, Knock was just so bizarre, man. Like, I feel like, I mean, the fact that this is free, this is the biggest thing that people said about Knock, is it, you know, like it's trying to be like Rocket League, and Rocket League's a free game, and that's why, one of the reasons why it's so successful, right? I wonder how they're, I mean, is it ads? Somebody said free with ads. Like, how are they funding this thing? You know what I mean?
It's the Battle Pass thing. We've seen other games do
not
this.
Too bad, then. Battle Pass it happens in everything. It's out there, so why not?
It's the Pop 1 model, only they're giving you the game. And I think it's a smart move. I mean, let's be honest, this is a casual multiplayer game on Quest, and, you know, there's a lot of these. So how do you get people to play it? How do you convince people to put down money on it? Well, you let them play it, and if it's really good, then they'll want to spend money on it.
Right.
I think it's a smart move from Resolution.
Very smart.
And I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah, absolutely. PD says, you know who else loves positional planning?
My mom!
Yeah. Or not.
That's true.
No planning sometimes, just on the whim. You know, I think it is very smart. A lot of people are saying it's smart to make it free, and I think it is as well. It makes me want to try it. I really didn't care for Knock. It just was the way that it was done, and this is a skill level, and I guarantee if I spent a lot of time in it, I would be, you know, I'd be like, wow, this is amazing, very technical, right? It's just too much. It was too much for me, and So
It wasn't fun enough to inspire us to put the time in to get good. In a game like this, that's kind of what you have to have, right? It has to be fun enough that it makes you. It has to be fun to lose to an extent. Like, obviously, it's never fun to lose, but there has to be some positive experience to be taken away, even in the losing effort. And Knock just wasn't that, man. We were just getting destroyed from the get-go on that. And we tried, man. We tried for an hour and a half, and it was just frustration. Couldn't get the movement system down. Couldn't. There was a lot of mechanics that we couldn't quite get a grip on. And like Ruuts said, we could have if we had wanted to put that kind of time into it, but it didn't grip us enough to really make us want to. Now, will it be any different with this? Only time's going to tell. But I have a bit more confidence, in knowing that this is coming from Resolution Games, and everything that they've done up until this point has been pretty awesome.
it looks like the movement's intuitive, and the moves and stuff. And so that's the most important thing for me. I love Rocket League. It's one of the coolest games I play. If you can, now you can tell me I can play Rocket League in VR as a robot. Like, it sounds badass, right? Like, if it's done right, I think it's going to be really, really good, amazing. And like you said, the free model is the good model. I don't mind buying skins. I buy skins for Fortnite. I buy skins for. I got Cuphead yesterday for Fall Guys. I was so excited. I've been watching this little Cuphead fucker run around for months. I could never be. Now I get to be Cuphead. So I mean, if you can make people, that model works very well with the battle pass, and then maybe some skins or whatever. So why not use it?
Makes me want to go play Rigs. You ever play Rigs on PlayStation VR?
I did not play it actually, but a lot of people said it was really good, right?
Yeah, it's a similar concept to this, only it's a lot more. I mean, it's a Sony exclusive, so you can imagine, the scale of it and the polish, the level of polish. Another level.
Yeah.
Bluebill says, I like Knock, I just suck at it.
That's me.
Yeah,
I suck at it real bad. I've never been in a position. It was so bad that all I could do was laugh. I mean, it created a good memory for me with Wes and Mash. So I mean, it was not all bad. It was just so overwhelmingly one-sided. Every match we played, it was like we weren't even there. They were just like, fuck, here, we're just going to score anyway. I don't care where you're doing, what you're doing, where you're standing, how you defend. We're going to score on you.
And you know what's funny is we were sure that we were going to be good at that. I play so much in Death. Yeah, I play so much in Death. I thought I was just going to own people right off the bat.
I told Mash going in, I said, dude, I had tried the tutorial. I said, man, I am going to rock this. Like, I really legitimately thought I'm going to fuck people up. I'm going to do really good. And the stark reality of what reality is, it was like, oh my God, what is happening? It was, that was the best part.
Yeah. Our expectations versus reality. It was, brought us back down to earth.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get a head start on everybody on this one, Ruuts. We're going to get to play it before other people get in there. So I don't think we should squander our opportunity to get good before the general public gets in there.
We can be the people completely shaming somebody else for sucking, right? We can just score over and over. And the dude's friend was like, Josh, like, stop. Like, that memory, man, that was so good. But yeah, I can't wait to get in there. I think this is going to be really good.
And for those of you wondering, it does feature cross-platform play. So if you have it on Quest, your friend has it on Steam, you will be able to play together. That was the first question I asked when they started, giving us the info on this one. So cross-platform confirmed for this one.
That should be a no-brainer for any of these games. And I get that there's reasons why they don't, but like, you're really limiting yourself if you don't cross-platform. That's really good.
Yeah, excellent. Anyway, Ultimechs not the only title that we got a release date for. Another really good one just dropped this past week.
Do you think all of us are gonna make it out of here alive?
I'd like to believe it.
But you don't.
I guess not.
Good. Means you're not stupid.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Shit.
We're done here.
Keep your guard up. Watch out!
The Requisition from our friends over at Arcadia. This game's been a long time coming, Roots, and it's been pushed back a couple of times so that the developers continue to work out bugs, add in new game modes, and polish it up. But we now know that this game will be launching into Steam Early Access on September 22nd with a Quest version coming at some later date on down the road, and even a PSVR 2 version sometime next year. Roots, this game, the concept for this game has come along quite a bit since its initial inception, and it's gone on to become this thing that has a little something for everybody. I mean, if you're into player versus player, they've got that. If you're into single player, they've got that. They've got a story mode, but you don't have to do it by yourself. You can do the story mode in co-op. And the basic idea here is to take what, the zombie killing mechanics of a game like Saints and Sinners and put it into a Home Alone scenario. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie Home Alone, but really it's all about this kid coming up with all kinds of creative traps to take out his enemies, and really that's the main inspiration behind the game mechanics in this game. A lot of potential here, Roots, for this one. I feel like with the wide selection of different game modes and over 300 items that you can craft and use to kill zombies, this could be one that brings people back time and time again.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different modes, right? You can't, talk about replayability. One mode that I want, Wes, which would be cool, is like if you could booby trap the house or the areas and other players could, like they're trying to get through a certain area that you've set up against them, right? And maybe that's set up in the PvP, I don't know. But
yeah, that's what the PvP does, actually. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, I played that other version. I don't know what it is in VR. It's similar to this. It's like a more of an indie version a couple years ago. And the premise was cool. This one looks like a little bit more fleshed out graphically for sure. And I think it's super cool. I mean, even just the co-op, I think every game should do this if they can, if they got the time and the resources, right? Why not give me options to play? I don't want a mode. I don't want a co-op mode. I want to play the fucking game in co-op. To me, that's the best. Is like, I've got this game. It's 4 or 5 hour campaign, whatever. And I can go with a friend or a family member and I can just enjoy the entire game, not some offshoot mode. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's interesting because these guys clearly learned their lessons from the launch of Hinge, which is a great game, but it wasn't all that great when it launched. And, it was kind of a work in progress for a while through early access until finally they got a grip on the performance, and it turned out to be what it was. But they obviously took that lesson from all those negative reviews it got at launch and applied it to this situation. And they've held on to it and they've polished it. And in doing so, all of this multiplayer functionality kind of got birthed in the process. It wasn't supposed to originally have this scope, but they started playing around with the multiplayer modes internally and found through playtesting, which they've done 5 rounds of playtesting now. They found out through playtesting that the PvP and multiplayer stuff are what most people tend to gravitate towards. So kudos to them for taking their lessons from the earlier experience. And even though this is still going to be an early access game when it launches, I'm sure it's going to be a much more complete package than Hinge was when it launched.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to listen to the community. And I don't know, this is the biggest thing as game testers, right? Find out what they enjoy the most, and then you can focus more on that. I think that's really smart. PD says he sent us a message in the Discord. It was basically mentioning the Raft, that game Raft, the VR mod. Says it's amazing. You can play multiplayer together, and he's got a video out there for it if you want to check it out on his channel. I kind of watched Raft. I kind of when it first came out, and it was almost a game I played just because it looked pretty cool, right? With a friend, and now that it's a VR mod, I might actually have to get in there and check it out.
This is a game that I was completely unaware of. Like I had never heard of this when the mod for this launched last week. I've seen it pop up in my YouTube feed a couple of times, but I haven't even watched any of the videos on it. So I'm familiar with it. I know that there's a game called Raft and it has a VR mod. I know that the Risk of Rain 2 team that did that mod did this one as well. But that's really all I know about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a survival game, but you're on a raft with a friend or friends, and then you build up on the raft. And I mean, it's very elaborate. It's kind of, and I mean, there's more to it, but very popular game. And I think it came out a year or two ago. But I actually thought about playing it, but I just for whatever reason didn't. So,
do you get to eat the weak players to survive?
Oh, that would be cool, right? You know what I mean? I think if you did do that, if they took that stance on what was that movie where the kids crashed on the island and Piggy and all those people that supposedly survived at the end wouldn't have survived. They would just ate them quick. Out of there.
Oh, it reminds me of a comedy bit that just kills me. That's about this very topic, but it's kind of sick, so we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, cannibalism is a little gross.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure we'll check out Raft at some point. We've got a long list of mods that we're getting to. Doing what this week? We're doing Cyberpunk 2077 this week and Half-Life 2 VR. Yeah.
Yep.
So tune in this Wednesday for that. In addition to that, of course, Red Matter 2 got an excellent episode lined up this week.
Absolutely. And it was Lord of the Flies. Yep, Lord of the Flies. That'd be a good VR game, right? Lord of the Flies. Maybe not.
You know what would be a great VR game? Lost. They should put Lost in VR.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, you know what I think we should do since Eric's out of town this week? I think we should pick one of his favorite games and cover it while he's gone, just so he can be sorry for it and never leave us again.
You're not allowed to leave again, Eric. There's been too much, too long.
He's going to be gone for like 3 weeks, dude.
I know, it's crazy. At least the last week is the most important week where he's hanging out with his family in Florida and Disney and stuff.
You know what? I know what we could play. There was a significant update to one of Eric's favorite releases this year. Did you hear?
Really?
The Mothergunship Forge Cozy Update. New gun parts, game modes, levels, enemies, boss, and a whole lot more. We got Cozy Teacup Gun Part, Cozy Gift Box Gun Part, Cozy Bento Box Gun Part. What else we got? Try the Cozy Sandbox Mode, Relaxing Endless Mode, and the new Heart Level set. We got Cozy Pillow Gun Part, Cozy Disembodied Cat Head Gun Part, Cozy Hand Grenade Gun Part, Cozy Not a Wave Shooter Gun Part, Cozy whatever this is. Also included, access to the Cozy Beta Co-op Campaign Mode. Mothergunship Forge, the Cozy Update.
Mothergunship Forge gets cozy and new update available now on the Quest and PCVR. This from Henry Stockdale at Upload VR. Mothergunship Forge's first major content update has arrived on Quest 2 and Steam VR, adding new weapon parts, a beta co-op campaign, and more. Released in June, Mothergunship Forge brought us an original VR spin-off to the 2018 flat-screen title Mothergunship. Offering a new roguelike first-person VR shooter, the goal is to fend off large hordes of enemies and get creative with large-scale weapons customization. Now, Terrible Posture Games has brought us the free Cozy Update, which includes new enemies, around 20 new gun parts, and a new heart level, which includes new enemies and a brand new boss.
Ooh.
If that's not enough, Terrible Posture added 3 new gameplay modes as well. For those looking to explore all of the different customization options, there's the brand new, highly requested sandbox mode. Secondly, there's an endless mode, which challenges you to hold out for as long as possible against waves of enemies. Finally, the new co-op mode will let you and one other player run through the entire campaign together, though it's only available in beta for now. There's tons of smaller additions as well. Weapon favoriting, new ways to explore your run history, lots of bug fixes, quality of life improvements, and design adjustments. The Cozy update is available to download right now and will be available on MetaQuest 2 and PSVR via Steam. So we covered this game earlier this year, Ruuts, and we thought it was fun. Eric absolutely loved it, and I thought it was great, but I thought it was lacking in a couple of areas. I felt like there could have been more content. I wanted to see more like boss fights in it, and I wanted to be able to play the original campaign with a friend. There was a co-op mode, but it wasn't the campaign. It was like a separate wave-based co-op mode. Happy to say, Ruuts, I think every complaint that I had about this game has been now rectified through this latest update.
Thank God, because as you were reading that, I felt awkward because I was just bitching about exactly that, about co-op modes, you know, like not wanting them. I mean, modes are good, extra modes are good, but like the campaign's the beef of it. And super cool that you'll be able to do that. And I like that. I mean, this game has everything, right? It was already amazing before this update, and the quality of life updates, I mean, all of that stuff, that's all good, right? So
yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to kind of levy any kind of criticism at this game now, assuming that all of their updates run as smoothly as the original game. But this was a good one, man. A lot of weapon customization, which is kind of what the game is built around. A lot of creative enemies and fun, fast-paced shooting in VR. There's a roguelike element, which brings some variety to every run through it, and tons of unlockables. It's just a whole lot of game, and it's really well done. And to be honest, this is one of those games that you're only going to see about a dime worth of difference between the PC version and the Quest version. So to kind of bring it back to our conversation at the top, this is one where you might just want to grab your Quest. Like, you don't really need to play it on PC.
Yeah, I'm still going to play it on PC.
Anyway, Eric's gone to Europe and left us here all by ourselves. So I think we should play it this week and then tell him about it.
Tell him how awesome it is, right?
Exactly. Tell him just how great it is.
So this is out, right?
Now,
it's out now.
Yeah. It's out now. Yeah, we'll wait on Eric before we jump in here and cover it again. But it's a great game, and I'm glad to see that it's continuing to get quality support. Awesome Tatum in the chat says, I love the gunship. Yeah, it's pretty good. We covered it. I guess it came out a few months ago, and we enjoyed our time with it. Paradise Decay and a bunch of other people, as usual, saying that Dead Second is fantastic.
I asked my patented question to Wolvie. I said, Dead Second ... any good? And then everybody else started raving about it. And Wolvie's like, yeah, he's having a blast. He just plays second in one of the Desert Eagle manual reload levels. This is the thing. You know, it's all about the manual reload with Wolvie, man. Like, if you love manual reloads, go to Wolveraza and ask him if there's a question on any game, because he knows which ones are the good ones and which ones are like the mediocre auto reload crap, which I love. I love auto reload.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Anyway, speaking of which, hold on just a second here. Bam! Contractor's key in the chat, courtesy of Bluebell. Somebody grab it.
Chatty H.
Thank you, Bluebell.
Who is it that grabs them real quick, Chatty? I know I'm good.
Yeah, Chatty gets a lot of them. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good at
that's
copy
right.
pasting those keys and getting them in there. Anthony's show was
Anyway.
a gem for me. He used to just put them in there, and I'd get like 75% of the keys if I wanted to. I usually stop because I felt guilty.
Start feeling bad about it after a while.
Yeah, because it was just like, and everyone's like, is there a key? And I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I got the key again. Oh, shit.
Anyway, you want manual reloads. You want realistic gun physics. Contractors is the game.
Yeah.
Have at it, people.
It's definitely one of the best games in VR shooter-wise. I still think Alvo's better to me.
So Chatty already has it, so it's up for grabs. I know a lot of people have this game. If you're watching the replay of this, you might want to watch the chat replay because this very well could go unclaimed just because everybody has contractors.
Yeah,
like
that's a Quest version. I don't think I have it on Quest. I think I.
Oh, this
is this Steam?
This is Steam.
Okay, this is Steam.
Steam.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have it on Steam.
Yeah, I've got it on both.
Well, Steam's the better in my opinion because it's got the their place where you can get all the maps and stuff, right?
There's more maps. So you can some of them I think you can get on Quest now, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that said, I think speaking of Quest shooters, we do have one more headline that I'm really interested to get into before we get into the week's reminders.
Get him! It's a torpedo! Finish him!
Why are you teaching me a high level of violence?
This is your new protocol. Find me. Okay, then let's shoot faster and with both hands.
Ah, come on, motherfucker, remember!
Done. Looks like that's all. Now it's your turn.
Genre-defying VR experience, Desperate Vladivostok gets summer release window. Now, some of you are going to recognize that this is a 2-month-old article that we're reporting on here. And this is really interesting because either my memory is just shit or this somehow got by us. And not much gets by us. But let me read a little bit of this article and then I'll tell you guys a little bit about why we're covering it. Desperate Vladivostok is a genre-defying VR experience like no other launching this summer. PM Studios and Mirrorwind are thrilled to finally unveil Desperate Vladivostok, an upcoming genre-defying bullet hell shooter coming to Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, and PlayStation VR. Players are invited on a journey filled with furious fights and adrenaline shootouts, accompanied by dynamic music. Along the way, dive into the criminal history of a hired killer in the post-Soviet cyberpunk setting and fight to the bitter end. Vladivostok will explode onto the Oculus Quest and PlayStation VR this summer, with more details to be revealed over the coming weeks. So this coming this summer, Ruuts.
Oh, wow, summer's over almost.
That means we should be getting this in the next 4 to 6 weeks, right? Like, there's only, actually about 4 weeks left in summer. So we should see this over the next month if it's going to hit that window.
Yeah. How crazy, man. I agree with you 100%. If I had seen or heard anything about this game, I would have remembered it. Especially you go through these articles, like so many articles every single day, or at least every week, right? So I think you would have seen it.
Well, get this. So I first noticed this early in the week as someone shared an article about it on the Without Parole, PSVR Without Parole Discord. That's a good spot to keep up with your PSVR news. Just join that Discord, man. There's such a large and awesome community. They'll keep you up to date with everything. But I guess was a day or two after I read it on there, somebody asked us in our Discord if we're going to be covering it. To which I replied, or they asked if we had a review key yet. No, we don't have a review key yet, but yes, we will be covering this when it comes out. The reason I know that we'll be covering this when it comes out is because this is from our friends over at Mirrorwind. And I'll just have you remember, as we were trying to sign off from the last time we were on the air, I had posed a question to Mirrorwind via their Discord about their previously announced shooter game RU-77, which seemingly dropped off the map. Like, we were excited about that game. It kind of went away for a long time. So I asked them, one, is RU-77 still coming? Two, are they doing anything for VR anymore? Or are they just doing flat games now? Because they've been promoting a lot of flat games lately. So they got back to me literally as we were signing off on our last episode. They got back to me, and I read it in real time to everyone. They said the RU-77 had paused development for a while, but they had since picked it back up, and that there would be more news on it soon. All right, so cool. Then I find out, between then and now, people start talking about this desperate Vladivostok game, and I start looking at the Steam page. And let me just read to you the Steam description for Desperate Vladivostok. All right, so Desperate Vladivostok is a bullet hell VR action in the post-Soviet era, filled with primal ultraviolence, furious fights, and adrenaline gunfights. Immerse yourself in a world which you are alone against everyone. All right, so that's the Steam description for Desperate Vladivostok. But I noticed this game looks familiar. This description sounds familiar. So I went over, after I saw that, I went to the Steam description page for RU-77, the game we were just talking about. This is the Steam description for RU-77. RU-77 is a bullet hell VR action in the post-Soviet era, filled with primal ultraviolence, furious fights, and adrenaline gunfights. Immerse yourself in a world in which you are alone against everyone. So, Ruuts, I'm giving Mirrorwind a hard time about ditching RU-77, and all the meantime, it just has a new title, apparently has a new title, and they announced it to the world 2 months ago. Somehow we missed it. But when I asked them about it, they didn't even tell me that. So, I don't know what's going on here. I sent them a message this morning asking them, hey guys, is RU-77 and the new game, Vladivostok, is this the same game? They never responded to me. So I'm assuming it's the same game. It has a similar art style. It's got the exact same word for word description. They're both coming from Mirrorwind. This is the same game, right?
Yeah, it looks, the description's definitely the same. The thing is like the art style, even though it's similar, it's definitely different. Like, this looks more like realistic. And then the RU-77, the Desperate Vladivostok looks more like, if I'm being honest, I like the new version. If they did change it, I like the way this looks. It looks unique. The other one, it looked like another, it could be any game, right?
Looked like lo-fi or distortion or lawn. It had that same aesthetic, while this is a lot more colorful, right?
Yeah, it's just, this one looks cool. When I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh my God, this is really cool. I'm sure the other one would have been great, but if it is a Switch, I think it's good. It's a good Switch.
Yep. Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, before, RU-77 was just being touted as from Mirrorwind, but now that it's got this new title, there's a new. Let me see. There's a new studio that's working on this with them, I think. It's not listed on Steam, but all the articles talk about PM Studios. So if I had to guess, and again, this is just speculation, I don't know. I would guess that Mirrorwind Studios has been working on flat titles, and they didn't want to let all of their work on RU-77 go to waste. So they're probably outsourcing the development to this PM Studios. Again, I don't know that, but that's what it looks like to me. At any rate, this game looks fun, and I think that Mirrorwind titles, universally are underrated in the VR catalog. Of course, they did Guns and Stories Bulletproof.
I love that game.
Which a lot of people know about that game. It's a fun wave shooter on all platforms. But a game that doesn't get nearly as much credit as it deserves, Boiling Steel, which came out right around the time that Stormland and Asgard's Wrath came out, and it was just horrible timing for that game. But it's a fun game, Boiling Steel, and you can often pick it up on Steam for like a couple bucks, and I highly recommend anyone who hasn't played it do just that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's Guns and Stories is one of my favorites wave shooters. It doesn't even feel like a wave shooter. Just the story and just the way it's done, it was done so well, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, fun gameplay mechanics and good comedy in that game too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The narration's funny. One more thing I want to point out about this game before we move on into the week's reminders. It's touted for Q3 on Steam, but it's said to be coming this summer for Quest 2 and PlayStation VR. So this is going to be something for PSVR soon. That in and of itself is something to be excited about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because what is coming out on PlayStation? Nothing, right? VR.
It's been about 3 months. I think Moss Book 2 was the last thing that came out on PlayStation.
The good news is they have such an amazing library to fall back on, over the years, but it's still...
Maybe Stride. Stride came out too, so maybe that was the last thing.
Okay.
But this will be cool because, it's a new title. Like, it's not going to be like ported over into PSVR. It's going to launch simultaneously on Quest and PSVR. So that's
awesome.
Pretty cool. Good that those people get something to play.
Yep. Yeah, keep them, tide them over until they get to experience the best of VR.
So Wolveraza asks, is the Death Horizon an update or a whole new game? It's an update. It's the final chapter in the campaign. It'll be the biggest level so far, and it's going to introduce new weapons, new gameplay mechanics, and crafting into the game. So it's a big update. So it's not a whole new game, but it's basically going to make it into a whole new game.
It's crazy.
Anyway, that's going to wrap this week's headlines and bring us into this week's reminders. Hold on a second, Roots. Before we get into what's out this week, let me check my email and see if we can talk about this first one.
Minddrive says Doom 3 VR is 75% on the PS Store for QuakeCon, by the way. So if you don't own that and you have PSVR, that's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's great. And aim controller. That you say, why should I go play that on PSVR? Because aim controller, that's why.
I think, wasn't that the one we covered that, right? I preferred it on the aim controller than the other versions.
Doom 3 or Doom VFR?
Maybe that was Doom VFR.
We preferred Doom VFR on PSVR because of the aim controller, but Doom 3, it's really good on PSVR. I think the PC...
Didn't it have more to it or something? I don't know. I can't remember. It was good.
Not really. It's the same game. It's just it's an official port, and the other versions are mods. But I still think that the PC mod's probably the best version and even the Quest version. I hate to say it, but I think the Quest mod is better than the PSVR version too. But it's worth playing still because of the aim controller. So.
Awesome. Tatum says, get an aim controller. Laugh out loud. Okay, Wes said it. Yeah, get an aim controller for sure.
There you go. Anyway, let's skip over this first one that's out this week. There's something coming this week, and the embargo terms are unclear at this point. So I'm just going to cut over it rather than risk sharing something that I'm not supposed to share. We'll come back to it after it launches and let you guys know that it launched. There's a game hitting App Lab beta this week from one of our friends. But again, I don't want to step on any toes here, so we'll just skip over that one. NERF Ultimate Championship is dropping this week from secret location onto the Quest 2 platform. Ruuts, this one snuck up on us, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know they mentioned it a while ago, but it's been a while, and it actually looks pretty good. You know, like this, to me, any shooter, I don't care if there's Nerf bullets or real bullets or whatever, if the gameplay is fun, if the game modes are fun, if there's a lot of action, the guns are good, it can be really good. So I think this has potential to be better than I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, with these games, it's really hard to tell until you play them. But I mean, it's got that name on it, right? It's got that NERF tag on it. So you got to think that there's a certain amount of money and polish going into this. And if for no other reason than that, my curiosity is piqued.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think it could be good. You know, who doesn't want to shoot people with Nerf guns, right? Instead of real guns.
Right. You know, they're teaming up with, who was it? Somebody in the chat knows. They're teaming up to do a Quest controller attachment with a Nerf gun on it. So when you're playing this, it feels like you're holding a Nerf gun, but I think the thing might actually even shoot darts out. It looks like it does.
How crazy.
I got to find out who's doing this now.
Wolvie says he really, really hopes they don't screw up the pairing system for multiplayer. That's the thing, man. How many games like this come out and the multiplayer, it's like difficult to group up, or it's not cross-play. It's like developers think they're sitting around a room around a table, and they're like, okay, how can we like gimp our game? How can we really like limit the scope of our game? It's like, okay, well, that would be one of them, right? Fuck up the multiplayer on launch so that you can't group up with people. So hope you're right, Wolvie. Hopefully everything's good. I don't know if you have reason to worry about that, but I mean, that's always a worry with these kind of games, right?
Yeah. The UI and the matchmaking are paramount when you're talking about these type of fast-paced multiplayer arcade shooters. I mean, we saw a game with a similar vibe from First Contact Entertainment, the follow-up to Firewall Zero Hour, and I always forget the name of this game. And there's a reason I always forget about it. It's because nobody played it. And the reason why is there were so many issues with the matchmaking and the game mechanics. They didn't launch with crossplay. I mean, there was a lot of problems with it, and it paid the price for it. So hopefully that won't be the same problem with this one.
Yeah, you got a small window to really grab people in multiplayer like this kind of stuff, especially in VR. It's not the biggest community. You know, like on Steam, if it was like a flat game, you have a shitload more people that might come in and figure out that it's a good game or whatever. But it's I don't know. It looks like it's pretty cool. So
thank you, Ryan Brandon, Chi-Town D, Michelle B. They all know what's up. Hello Real, doing a real Nerf gun attachment for the Quest controllers, and it does shoot darts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Wolf Raza says Solaris. That was the game, right?
Solaris, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
He
and
says
it did have
Solaris could have been such a good game, but the bogus pairing system killed it. And this is a very similar setup. Hoping like hell they research. Yeah, you and me both, bro. We're not going to have to wait long, man. This comes out in 4 days.
Ooh.
So we'll know soon whether or not this is going to be any good. But shout out to Hello Real for the awesome attachments. You got to task, bro. You got to do your homework, man.
Step it up, bro. What are you doing? Come on, man.
Fall behind.
Come on, man.
Anyway, Ruuts, that's not all that's out this week, or we assume that this next one's out this week. It says August, so if it's not out this week, it'll be out early next week. A bit of a surprise here, not something I was expecting to see when I did this week's lineup. Jupiter and Mars from Tigertron apparently is coming to Quest 2. This, of course, a 3-year-old, formerly PlayStation exclusive. It's an acclaimed undersea adventure, Roots. Haven't you heard?
It's funny you say that because as we were watching, I almost asked you that. I said, was it acclaimed? I don't remember if it was acclaimed or not. This is the thing. I went through a range of emotions when I first saw this. I first was like, whoa, what is this? Then I remembered trying to play it or playing through it on the PlayStation VR, and I didn't care for it that much. So then I was like, eh. But then I started to think how cool it really kind of was. And I wanted to play more of it, but the limitations of the PlayStation VR, this was one where, at least for me, it was like, it was shimmery, and there was just a lot of things that I didn't care for on it. So I didn't end up playing that much. I felt like it could have been better, and it was just probably my experience. But so then I'm thinking, wow, I'm actually kind of intrigued. I want to play this game on the Quest because I want to see that clear version. And like Michelle B says, I get to be a dolphin, sign me up. I did think it was cool. It is a story. It's like everything that we've been playing lately, like Lost Ember and that kind of stuff, but it has a really deep story behind it. And I feel like this was the biggest thing that I was struck with, is like, I really hope it does well, because it's a game that I don't think really got the attention it should have. And I think this is maybe it's going to be the best version of it, right? So
I would hope so. It says it's enhanced. I was not a fan of this game. I thought it was boring. Now, with that said, I did not play very much of it. I played like an hour of it, and I was done. I was so unimpressed by this game that I stopped eating dolphin-safe tuna just because I was so disgusted with dolphins afterwards. But in all seriousness, they're selling this game as an adventure. I don't remember any of that. I just remember it kind of being an exploration game with really shimmery visuals and a boring experience. I'm thinking now, maybe I didn't give it long enough. Maybe this is one that's kind of a slow burn, and it takes it a while to get going. But I'm willing to try again, especially because it is on newer hardware, and it is apparently enhanced in some way. So I'm willing to check it out again. Maybe it's better than I remember it being.
Yeah, and definitely could be. I thought it was pretty cool. I just thought like I said, it was too shimmery. I just think that it was not optimized for the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, and who knows? It may even be better on PSVR now that PS5.
That's true.
Maybe a lot of that stuff goes away if you play it on PS5.
That's a good point.
Fluke Rogie says the gameplay just wasn't interesting in any way. That's kind of what I remember too.
But Michelle B says you get to be a dolphin. Like, if you're into dolphins, it's pretty cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Dan Marino or Flipper.
Oh, I was a big Dan Marino fan. He was my favorite. I was a Miami Dolphin fan because of him. I will go on the record that we both do eat dolphin-safe tuna. Just kidding. Can you imagine, like, all of a sudden we lose like 100 subs? Or like, you know what? Fuck this guy. He's eating dolphin. I'm out.
Yeah, I think all tuna is dolphin safe these days, isn't it?
That should be. Like, I mean, they're pretty smart mammals, right? Like, they're probably smart. I mean, I think in some ways, right, they're smarter than us. So. Oh
yeah, I mean, do a little research on John Lilly's experiments with dolphins. You'll learn a lot. John Lilly, dolphins. Just Google that right now.
Okay, I'll have to do it now.
Anyway, that's what's out this week. As far as I know, if something else comes up, we'll be sure to let you know. Just make sure, if you haven't already, to click the big red button and the bell.
Yep.
Anyway, that brings us to the wish list segment. This is where we ask all of you just to take a moment of your time with us right now as we all go in real time and do our part to support the developer community by wish listing a game. And I think, Roots, that I'm going to go wish list Desperate Vladivostok, because RU-77 I think is already on my wish list, but I'm not so sure we're going to get that one anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if that thing is. It says to be announced for the date, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And I'm waiting on the announcement. I'm waiting on them to respond to my message I sent them this morning. So hopefully by the time this one actually launches, I'll have a lot more information on it. They're on a different time zone than we are, so I'm sure that's why I haven't heard back from them yet.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Sunday. I mean, who works on Sunday, right?
That's true. Well, we do on the show. That's about it, right? I don't consider it work though. I just did the same thing. I've added that game. That game does look really cool. Just the way it looks, it's exactly what I was talking about when you were saying about games not looking like Minecraft. Although that looks nothing like Minecraft. It's just it's a deliberate art style that I really like, and the gameplay looked really cool. And like Wolvie said, he uses that kind of game to relax. So a Wolvie relaxation game right there.
Yeah. This isn't Minecraft. This is like this is that cell shaded comic booky style. Like I don't mind this so much. Now I don't like it when every game is like this, but we've had a pretty good break from them lately. So and this one actually looks good.
It's got to be unique. D says she wish listed squirrel with a gun.
Well, there you go.
Is that I don't know if I've heard that one.
Mark Smith, Twisted Metal VR, hope and wish. I'm almost certain that Twisted Metal VR is going to be a thing on PSVR 2.
We're gonna start getting all of those, man. Sony's gonna start breaking out the real IPs. You know what I mean? And by real IPs, I just established. I guess I should. It's an insult to all the other companies, but no, they're just very established. Everybody wants the Twisted Metal. They want the BioShock. They want the GTA 5 or GTA whatever, you know? So.
Well, we know, this is what we know. We know that Twisted Metal is getting a TV series. It's in development. We also know, well, we've heard many reliable rumors that there's a Twisted Metal game in development for PlayStation. So then we just have to ask, would this be a VR game? Why wouldn't that be a VR game? Has there ever been a series that needs to be in VR more than Twisted Metal? I say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would also say, I would also say this.
That was another one, Back for Blood. I want it. I need it in VR.
Sure. Anyway, Mark Smith, I would also suggest that you check out Deathlap on Oculus.
Yes.
It's got a lot of Twisted Metal vibe to it and inspiration.
How long do you think that thing stays open, right? Like server wise, since we have all these games that keep getting ditched, and it's like didn't they abandon?
I don't know. I don't even know if they have dedicated servers for that. I think that might be user hosted actually.
Okay. Well, so that would be the way to go, right?
Yeah, and it's on sale right now too. Like if you go to Fanatical, I want to say, I think it's on sale. But it's been in a bunch of bundles. It's a cross-buy title. You can play it on PC or Quest, and it's fun. Underrated game, Deathlap.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, that's going to bring us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, our community, our channel. Of course, as we mentioned before, the easiest way to do that is by clicking the big red subscribe button and ringing the bell so that you can stay up to date with all of our content as we go live. Of course, if you're already a subscriber, you want to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you'll get access to our weekly show notes, insider updates, and exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And I was even dropping hints to them this week, Ruuts, about our upcoming project, the VR Crewcast, which is set to start next month, which is going to have Masher and I are going to be on there. Alex and Skiva are going to be on there. GT, Beardo Benjo, and sadly it's Bradley on the newest season of Gamertag VR's VR Crewcast. Very excited about this. And it was hard for me to keep it quiet all week, although I was dropping some pretty loud hints on our Patreon feed.
That's crazy, man. I'm offended they didn't invite me. Oh, wait, they did invite me. My boss, man. God bless him. I love them. It just didn't work out. But, I think everything happens for a reason. I think, it changed up. And I think this cast is going to be amazing. All of, having the right people. It just seems, that's the all-star cast right there. Super exciting.
To talk about a clash of personalities, man. You put us in there with GT and Benjo, and then Alex and Skiva, and then Brad's on his own fucking planet. Like, yeah, it's going to be great, and it's going to be interesting to see 7 dudes on a roundtable VR podcast. I might get three words in each episode.
Yeah, it's what is it 4? I guess 2 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern, right? Next month.
No, it'll be
Or is it 3 p.m.?
Let's see, 3 p.m. Yeah, it was 3 p.m. We thought about doing it for a while, but 3 p.m. Eastern on Mondays starting in September.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So VR Crewcast, if you haven't already, go subscribe to that. I will update the description stuff down below. It's not in there yet, but next week it'll be on there.
Yeah, super cool.
Yep, looking forward to it. Although, man, how many fucking VR podcasts can I do in a week, man?
I don't know, man.
4?
We'll stretch you as thin as you can. I don't know. You're going places, so that's all that matters. It's all a stepping stone to that goal where you're going to be this. Wes going to be doing this for a living at some way or fashion. I'm going to keep saying it, and you're going to keep saying it. It's going to happen. So,
Wolveraza, do you know who else wants 7 dudes on a round table?
My mom!
yeah, she wants it a little bit more than everybody else, but she's just that kind of girl.
Paradise Decay says, when do I have time to play games? I do that while people sleep. But it's a good point. And to be honest, I couldn't do this if I were like the host. Like, I couldn't do what GT's doing. I don't have time to do more. But this is just me showing up for a couple hours each week and talking about VR. He's going to be doing all the prep. So, yeah, I think we can fit one more in. Although I will say this, I don't want to stop doing On Location and our other special projects. So we might miss an episode of this one or the Wednesday show every now and then, just so that we can record On Location. We've got guests. I probably got 5 guests lined up right now for On Location. So we're going to get back to that real soon.
You know what we could do too is we could have something else that we play in its place in those times instead of just having nothing. Maybe we've got something else. We can just plan on, something else that we've already got to do for the show, record it, and, or whatever. We'll figure something
Stream
out.
gameplay.
Yeah.
So PD says, well, when do we have time to play games? We could just stream gameplay if we're not going to be live on a Sunday or a Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually kind of makes sense. Well, I mean, I guess we could do like the Wednesday show, but just do real-time review, pick one game, do real-time review, and that way we can do our content and we don't have to like miss episodes so often.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of ways to do it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Carl Parker says, is Squirrel with a gun in VR? And Chinatown D says no, but I would add that if you want it to be, it can be, right?
That's true. Yeah, you could do it in Reshade, pretty much any game. I'm sure Squirrel with I don't know, man. Like, I love flag games too. And if it's a Squirrel with a gun, I mean, come on. Why have they not brought it into VR? That's my question.
Yeah. Well, I like flat games for the most part. But if Spider-Man this past week taught me anything, it's that I don't love flat games the way I love VR games. Spider-Man was amazing. It's beautiful. It's addictive gameplay. But it's very much still a flat game. And I don't think even...
Different games, though. I would say Red Dead Redemption 2
that's a good
is
point.
one of the best games I've ever played in VR and in general. But I just feel like the gameplay, unless you like those mash the buttons type of gameplay, which I'm not a big fan of, then it's like, it becomes what Mash said, a really well-produced game that's amazing that isn't fun for you to play. And then at that point, it's like, what are you doing, right?
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun to play. And this is a whole different discussion maybe we can have on another game. I don't know if I'm into the idea of a 30 to 40 hour game anymore. It has to be really special for me to want to spend that kind of time. And a button masher just don't do it for me. Like, I'm sure I could have fun for 10 to 15 hours, 20. Like the length of a VR game, I could probably have fun in Spider-Man for that long. But if you're going to do all the little side shit in that game, it's going to take way longer than that to do it.
Right.
And
it's just one of those games you just, like GTA 5, you just play through the main story, and you just, most of that stuff. But the problem is like you said, it's all tied up into your upgrades. And so you know, it's probably more difficult to level up if you're not doing the side shit, right? So it's kind of a, I don't know.
But Red Dead's a great example because that is a flat game technically, but when you're playing it, it feels like a VR game to me. It feels rich and immersive, and that's what I love.
It's awesome.
PD says, I want to thank you guys for inspiring me to jump back into Stormland. So good, and on the latest hardware on max settings. Yeah, it was nice to be able to just flip it on Ultra and leave it, right?
Yeah. You didn't realize how shimmery it was on 70%, or at least for me. I was like, wow, what the fuck? Why does this... Oh, resolution, 70%? But
yeah, Stormland's great, and I'm glad we went back to it. We'll be going back to Asgard's Wrath, I'm sure, pretty soon as well, and giving that one another look.
I'm torn on Asgard's Wrath. Do I start back at the beginning, or do I try to start where I'm at? Because I was, you know... I don't know.
I'm going to start over, but I didn't make it as far as you either. I played it less than 10 hours, so
yeah,
there's still a lot to go. And that goes back to what I was just saying. I don't know if I want to play a game for 30 or 40 hours. Like,
well, I've said that before. Asgard's Wrath, I think, is too long. There's a point where you just gets to the point where you're like, I feel like I'm done.
But then I played Returnal flat for 100 hours and was wanting more when it was over with.
Yeah, that's just that's a sign of a well-made game, right? Doesn't matter if it's flat, VR, it's just amazing.
By the way, talking of Reshade, The Last of Us is coming to PC. The Last of Us Remake is coming to PC, and Returnal is coming to PC.
Oh my god.
Dude.
We need to start bugging Luke Ross for a mod, like in that Patreon.
Yeah, and we need to start bugging him to stop telling people how much money he's making.
Yeah,
like, take that shit down, bro.
I think he learned that lesson. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. But I think he's working on Spider-Man. If I had to bet, I'd say he's working on Spider-Man. So we'll probably be revisiting that one sooner than later.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Because I was saying, I think it may be a better experience. I mean, I know it's going to be a better experience because at the end of the day, a screen is a screen. 3D involved is awesome, but you know, being in that world is a different experience. Will I enjoy it more? That's the question, right?
Yeah. So, and if you want to know the answer to that question, click the button, ring the bell. I'm sure we'll get around to it.
Yep.
Anyway, with that said, of course, join us on Discord. There's an invitation link down below. This is where we hang out. It's where we lurk 24/7. It's where we talk about VR. It's where we talk about flat games. It's where we get together to play multiplayer. We share comedy. We share music. You're looking for a PS5? That's a good place to ask people for help. All that and more on the Virtual Strangers Discord, and it's free to join. Link in the description below.
Yep.
And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts, I'm Wes. We'll see you in a couple days. Bye.
Take it easy.